professors. This is Tao Yu from China Institute of Sports Science, and it's my pleasure to give the talk in the International Summer School, and I'm going to talk about the role of visual perception in teaching and learning. So we know that the teaching and learning process is a transformation process of knowledge from teachers to students. So that means the teachers give the knowledge and then the students receive the knowledge. And it's not just a knowledge telling by the professors. Because if the professors just tell what they want to tell and then pay less attention to whether the student can understand or not, probably the teaching effectiveness will not as good as we expected, and the student probably will not get a good academic performance. So here we can see that the changes of class during the past 50 years. So on the left, this is a traditional classroom, as here we can see, and the professors here is making tell the knowledge through the blackboard, and then the students, they are learning mainly depend on reading and memorization, and also through the lectures. And then studies found that to improve the effectiveness of teaching, or to help the students to understand better, we should use the visualization. We should use visual teaching or visual learning. So this is what we can see here. And nowadays, the professors are using the technologies, different tools and approach in their class to show the students by different ways and to help them to understand better and grasp the ideas and the concepts better. So this is, and meanwhile, as we can see, the professors and the students, they can have a good eye contact here. And in the past 3 years, due to the pandemic of the coronavirus, we have a new form of class, which is called the virtual class. So the professor gives the class through their computers, and then the students learn through their own computers at home when they were isolated at home. And it's just like what I'm doing here. I'm trying to explain the role of the visual perception in teaching and learning, but I cannot see you. So the good thing of the virtual class is that it can solve the problem of the distance, but at the same time, we cannot see each other. So we will lose the chance of eye contact, and in this way, we probably not know whether the students or the learners or the audience are interested in the topic or not, because I cannot see your eyes, I cannot see your face. So here is visual perception. So visual perception is the brain's ability to receive, to interpret, and to act upon visual stimuli. It is a primary source of information as people interpret and make sense of the world around them. And as we see that the first thing we do through our visual perception is to receive information, and only when we know about what is surround us, and we can survive better, and we can judge what is happening around. So to receive information, you may probably think, okay, just look at it. No? Yes, it is true. But here we first need to to emphasize that to look at it, especially in the classroom, we have two ways. The first is to read the text, and the other is to see the pictures. So here, if I want to explain where is South America, I can use two ways. First, use the text word to describe where is it, or to just give a photo of the world, and to say, just to point where is South America. And we all know that this is a more efficient way to explain. How to get the visual information? So look at it, but how is the look? So here, if I give you a Chinese character here, which means fair, I think that probably you may not know it, and then what you may do is to fixate it, right? So to look at it, in fact, there are two processes. The first is to fixate it, and the fixation. Fixation is very common, and we can see everywhere, from the baby when he is reading a book to the man when he is watching the TV. And fixation means interest and attention. So this is what we see in the classroom when all of the students pay attention to the topic of the professors. You will see that look at you, or look at the blackboard, or look at the PowerPoint. So why we have to fixate it? And instead, why could we use other ways to get the information, to get the visual information? So that is because of the physiological structures. So here is our eye, and then this is retina, and in the retina there are two kinds of photoreceptor cells, the rod cells and the cone cells, and these two cells are different. The rods, not just in the shape of the cells, but also in the functions of these cells. So, well, the rod cells, they are responsible for vision in low light conditions, for example, at night. And the cone cells, they are responsible for the vision in bright light, for example, in the daytime, and the color vision. So that means if you want to see something clearly, something well, we have to use our cone cells. And interestingly, the distribution of the cone cells and the rod cells are not even in the retina. And the cone cells is mainly concentrated in a very small area of the retina, which is called a fovea, just a very small area. So if we want to see something clearly, something well, something in detail, we are going to use this area to get the visual information, and this is why we have the fixation. Okay, because it is such a small area. And this is what is happening in the classroom, so you can see that the students, they are paying attention to the topic of the class. And so if the fixation means attention, means interest, so do we need eye movement? So can we always fix at the point on the blackboard? The answer is no. In fact, we move our eyes constantly, even though we do not notice it. And even when we are reading, or even when we are looking at the blackboard, even when we are watching the TV, we are moving our eyes. Although it looks like that we just fix at the screen or fix at the sentence. So a very important eye movement in the classroom is called saccas. Saccas is a abrupt voluntary shift in ocular fixation from one point to another, as occurs in reading. So this kind of eye movement is happening almost every time, and it is said that, for example, in 1 second, we can have 3 sakas. And in addition to the sakas, we have other types of eye movements. For example, the smooth pursuit movement is like when we fixate a bird flying through the sky. We follow the route of her flying. And also the vergence movement. The vergence movement happens when we see something very far and see something very near. And also there is a vestibular ocular movement. So all of these 4 types of eye movement are very important for the visual perception. But in the classroom, we mainly use the most important eye movement is sakas, although the others also exist. So here, as we can see, there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves, and then a very interesting thing, or one thing that surprised us, is that among these 12 pairs of cranial nerves, we have 4 pairs of cranial nerves related to our eyes, to our visual perception. One is the optic nerve, and the others, the number 3, 4, and the number 6, they are all related to eye movement. So this way, we know that the eye movement is so important for us, for the humankind, especially during the development, especially in the ancient time when we have to, for example, catch the animals or escape from the dangers. So this is examples of the fixation and sakat we use in classroom. So here when we read a sentence, we have fixation, sakat. And then we know that different person has different reading speed. And the studies show that if a person has less fixation and has more sakas, so the reading speed is increased. And then, for example, just as mentioned, this Chinese character, the fire, and then probably you may have to fix this one, and then do a sakat to here, and to here, and finally to have a global idea of how this Chinese character is written. In addition, when we look at a person or a face, in fact, we cannot get a global all of the features of the face just through one fixation. We have to move our eyes from for example, if we look at the face of this girl, we will look at her eyes, one fixation, and then probably sakat to nose and to the other places. So this is a fixation and the sakas. And this is in the classroom because what we do is about the athlete. So we want the athletes have a very good visual perception, because the speed, the acuity of their visual abilities are so important for their performance. So what we do is to practice the eye muscles. How to? Because as I mentioned that there are external ocular muscles, and then there are internal ocular muscles, ciliary muscle. So we just ask the athletes to move their eyes, okay, for example, from left to right, to right, and then from the up left to up right, or in this way. So probably we don't notice the existence of this eye muscles, but they exist there. So, and only through the practice we can make them very strong, and we can make them contract very fast, and then we can get this. We can get the visual stimuli as fast as we can, and then give a very good response to it. And about these ciliary muscles, we can see that nowadays the prevalence of myopia is increased. I don't know in Colombia how about this situation, but in China the prevalence is increasing dramatically. And one reason is that nowadays we use our eyes too much, and especially we fixate something very near from our eyes, and this caused the overload of our ciliary muscles. And then for the adaptation, especially the child and the young people, they have myopia. So we should not think myopia is a bad thing. It is because the adaptation, and although we don't want the myopia. And in fact, in the classroom, not only in the sarcasm, I mean the eye movement is not enough, but what we see is very close to our eyes, and that is not good for the internal ocular muscles. And this is a prevalence of myopia. So how to solve this problem is just let the students to go out and to move their eyes as much as they can, and this will help them to delay or to prevent them from the myopia. So after getting the information, we are going to interpret it. So how to interpret the data? We know if we compare the text reading and the feeder and the figure reading, we will see the advantages of the data visualization, of the figure visualization. For example, if we put two numbers, for example, 100 and 200, then we will compare which one is bigger, and this is in the data way. And then if we can also draw compare the bars, and this will give us a very clearly and a faster way to find the differences. So we are good at find the difference, the trends. To recognize the shape, the color, and the location through the data visualization, through the figures. And why we can do that, and which area of the brain is mainly in charge of it. So we know that our eyes from our eyes we receive a lot of information, and then all this information will go to our brain in the primary visual cortex, so V1, and here. But from here, the information go in two pathways: the dorsal pathway and the ventral pathway. In the dorsal pathway, they mainly deal with the data about where. For example, where is the object, the speed, the orientation, the direction, and in the ventral pathway, it is mainly dealing with what. For example, what is the object, the shape, the color of the object. So from here we can know that in the classroom or in the data visualization, we mainly use the area of the what pathway, the V4. But at the same time, we should notice that there is connections between the aware pathway and aware pathway, and especially the frontal lobe of the brain is also participates in this visual perception. For example, here, this Chinese character again, the fair. After we have the fixation and the sarcasm of this Chinese character, we probably cannot remember it very fast or very clearly. But if I show you that this Chinese character comes from the fire, for example, this is a flame, as we can see here, and this is the two branch of the tree to make the fire, and then probably you can remember it better, or you may think it is easier to remember this Chinese character, the fire. Okay, and similarly, we use figures or the charts to help us to interpret the data. Here we can see that there are 4 groups of data, and the statistical analysis are exactly the same. But if we draw the dot plot, we can see the difference of the 4 groups of data. And here the same with this numbers. When we draw the dot plot, we can see that we can even draw a dinosaur. So this is a way nowadays when we publish articles, we normally need to not just provide the numbers or the data, but also to draw different charts or figures. So one thing we need to pay more attention is that we want to see the difference trends or the difference between the 2 groups. For example, they want to show the difference between the green one and the red one. We need to pay attention to that there are some people who are not good at distinguish red and the green one. So in this way, they probably just see this and they cannot find the difference. But if we put different shapes, it will be better. But the best way is to use different shapes and different colors, and do not use the green and the red ones. At the same time, we have to pay more attention to our brain, because we know that our brain is participating in the visual perception. So there are 2 ways to the visual perception. One is bottom up, and the other is up bottom. Bottom up is like take pictures what is there, and we see. And the up bottom pathway is like, for example, this is where we are rope. Okay, in the bottom up pathway we see a rope, but in the up bottom pathway, if the person have been bitten by a snake, he probably may think the wire rope as a snake. So this is a bottom pathway. And similarly here, probably you may see 2 triangles or even more, but in reality they do not exist. It is our brain who is working that, and they draw the triangles. And similarly here, we probably think that the circle A and circle B are different. A is bigger, but they are the same. And here the line A seems longer than line B, but they are same. And here, if we have a look at chart A, chart B, you may probably think that the difference between the blue one and the green one in chart B is greater. But this is just a trick. This is because of we pay more attention to the difference of the 2 bars. If we have a look at the y-axis scale, we can see that in chart A it is from 0 to 100, and in chart B it is from 80 to 100. So there is a stretching of the chart A, of this region of chart A. So we stretch it and then we get the chart B. Similarly, here we can see how is stretching is done. So, but it is not an honest way, right? Because we just stress and to make it looks like the difference is big. And also, we have to we should not think that we will always use the scale from 0 to 100. It also depends on what we are going to describe. For example, if you want to show that the global temperature is increasing, so here is the temperature. We should not use the scale from 0 to 100 because it's too large for the temperature. Even 0.1 increase or decrease of the temperature, it will affect the world. So here we should use a smaller scale, as we can see here, to show that the temperature is really increased, especially after 19th century, it increased dramatically. And we should not use this figure. So finally, after receiving the visual information, after we interpreting it through the up-down and bottom-up pathways, we should give our response to the stimuli. If it is dangerous, if we are interested in it. And here we can see in the classroom, we have the communication with the class, with students in the class. And in sports, and it is very important because all the performance are based on the sensory perception. So, for example, Leo Messi, only after he observed the ball, get all of the visual perceptions of the ball. For example, where is it, the speed, the rotation, and where is his teammates, where is the gate. And so after knowing all of these informations, he could make a goal. And of course, it also depends on his muscle system. So if some person says that the athlete, they only have a good body shape or only have good skeletal muscles, it is not true. We know that not just the skeletal muscle, but the sensory organs and the brain are so important, especially for great football stars. And finally, we see here that the process of teaching and learning and the process of visual perception are very similar. And this is what is happening in the classroom, in the sports. And finally, we will say that our eyes is not just to get information, to interpret. At the same time, it is we should say that the eyes are the window to our soul. So we have more information from our eyes. For example, we can see if the person is happy or not from their eyes.